If you're a desk worker, you're constantly on a computer, getting work done during the week, and then the weekend comes, and because of all the time you spend on your computer in a seated position, you've got back pain that just doesn't go away, and it prevents you from doing things that you normally would do. Maybe you hike, maybe you ride a bike, maybe you like to work out in the gym. If you're unable to do some of these things because of the pain in your lower back, watch this video, because in it I'm going to explain 3 specific strategies to start implementing to reduce your back pain and get you back to doing the things you want to do. My name's Dr. Matt Pennetti. I'm a neurostructural chiropractor here in Centennial, Colorado, and we help people like yourselves overcome a static lifestyle. We primarily see people who are working in a desk, at home or at the office, and in that situation, we're creating a lot of restrictions throughout our spine, our soft tissue, and ultimately impacting how our nervous system works. And so if you're finding yourself dealing with a lot of back pain, maybe it's gotten worse gradually over time, or maybe it's just come out of nowhere, I'm gonna be able to help you understand why it's happening and what you can be doing to address it. If you find this content to be helpful, please like and subscribe, because chances are, if it was helpful to you, it's probably helpful to other people as well. So as a result of working with a ton of professionals, people that are working in a desk situation, I found a couple things to be true. Number 1, most people are sitting for far too long throughout the day. The average American is static, meaning sitting and sleeping, for more than 21 hours a day. The actual number is 21 and a half hours per day the average American is static for, which makes sense when you actually think about it and do the numbers, because we're sleeping for 6 to 8 of those hours. We're working for a big majority of them where we're probably not moving very much. We're sitting in our car, we're sitting at our table to eat, and maybe we go work out or we go for a walk. But how long is that workout or that walk really? Maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour, then tap on maybe another 30 minutes or so for other movement throughout the day. We're probably not looking at much more than that, which is a scary thought, especially when you consider that sitting itself, it's been linked similarly to smoking in terms of causing early death. 1 cigarette on average takes off 7 to 9 minutes of your life expectancy. And if you've ever heard the cliche term, sitting is the new smoking, the reason it's been said to be that is because of the research that validifies sitting for 1 hour takes off about 22 minutes of your life expectancy. If we're constantly in a seated position or we're static for that long, we're eating away at the overall health and well-being of our life. Now, this video isn't about all the other things that sitting can cause, but I think it's important to note that sitting is a huge player in just about any disease or health issue we could potentially be talking about. Now, when we talk about back pain specifically, back pain oftentimes isn't the actual real problem. It's a secondary issue. It's kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa example. If you were to look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa and see that it's actually leaning off to the side, the foundational issue is at the bottom. It's the fact that the tower is leaning, but they're constantly working on other stuff up top, be it the plaster or the archways or things of that nature. That stuff up top above the structure is secondary. The primary problem being the bottom. Until they fix that primary problem, they're always going to have all that other secondary stuff happening. When we look at the body, back pain isn't that much different. It's a secondary problem. It's an issue for sure, and it can wreck someone's life, but it's probably not the actual problem. It's probably not the core foundational issue, if that makes sense. A lot of times in my practice, what we'll see is someone dealing with back pain, if it is a structural problem, they're actually dealing with one of 2 problems. They're dealing with either a hip issue, restrictions in the hips, joints not moving the way they're supposed to, or they're out of position, or the cervical spine, the neck itself. Sometimes as we lose the positioning of our normal neck, we have a cervical curve that we should all have. If you start to lose the position of your head will actually drift forward. It'll start to move forward in front of the body. And when that happens, your head actually becomes heavier. Your head weighs give or take 10 or 12 pounds, but every inch your head moves in front of your body, it actually adds 10 to 12 pounds more of weight. So it just gets heavier and heavier the further it goes out. That's because of gravity and physics. But what ends up happening is your neck, your shoulders, your middle back, and your lower back all have to work harder to keep you from falling forward. And do that for a couple minutes, no, not a big deal. Do that for a couple hours, that becomes a huge deal. And so when we talk about back pain's usually not the actual problem. There's other things that are playing a role in it. Now, with all that said, it's important to note why back pain would happen with someone who sits at a desk. And quite honestly, the two reasons I gave you just a second ago definitely apply to the desk worker. The head translating forward as you look at a computer screen or a monitor, your head starts to drift forward. Again, that puts more pressure and more load all the way down the spine. So that could impact the lower back. It'll make it work harder, create problems. So addressing the neck and the shoulders is a big deal. But also, for the sake of this video, the lower back, the hips, that's where a lot of the restrictions develop from simply sitting on our butt for too long. Now, you might have a sit-to-stand desk. Hopefully you use it. The ideal scenario with a sit-to-stand desk is to break the position. Every 20 to 30 minutes is a good timeline to get up and stand, and after that 20 or 30 minutes, come back down and sit. Make yourself comfortable. Constantly changing the position is the answer. It's just that we don't use it quite often enough. We're usually sitting for far longer than 20 or 30 minutes, and if we're standing, we probably are doing the same thing for much longer than 20 or 30 minutes. The point is, sitting isn't in and of itself a problem. It's just that that's all we do. Sitting is a really good rest position if we just use it for that, but we are doing that as our work position as well. So it's not serving us. We really need to be changing the position regularly. So that leads me into the first strategy in terms of how to approach this if you're a desk worker. The biggest thing is to start changing the position of your hips regularly throughout your workday. So if you've got a sit-to-stand desk, perfect, that'll help us. The first thing I want you to do is bring your knee up, rest it on the top of or the bottom of a trash can. So you've got a little bit of a footstool there, or bring another chair in and set your foot up on that. Because what you'll do as you're moving is you're changing the position of your hips. And you might stay in that position for 5 or 10 minutes and then switch and do the other leg. But what you're doing, again, is you're changing the position. If you don't have a sit-to-stand desk, another thing you can do is cross one leg over the other, like a figure 4. We call that external rotation. That's a scientific term for it. You can do the other side as well, switching it back and forth. If you work on a desktop, you're limited to really that kind of a change in position. If you're working from a laptop, you can actually go a little bit further. You can take your computer monitor and put it on the floor, or your computer itself and put it on the floor and lay on your stomach and work propped up on your elbows. Propping yourself up like that allows for your hips and your pelvis to straighten out or elongate, which is great for them. And you take gravity out of the equation a bit. Now your head is going to have to work a little bit harder as well, more specifically your neck muscles, to keep your head back. Otherwise your head would just smash into the computer screen. So there's benefit there. As a result of your neck muscles having to work harder, they're going to be more comfortable bringing your head back when it is time for you to sit back up or stand back up. You're getting a workout as you're working on your computer. So essentially knocks 2 birds out with 1 stone. That's a great way to start changing the position. Now, if you have no other options, you're just seated in your chair at your desk, the other best case scenario is for you to get up and move. Put your cell phone on the other side of the room, set the timer for 20 minutes or 30 minutes at most, and every time that timer goes off, get up out of your desk, go over and turn it off, and then come back down and sit down in your seat and get back to work. That change of position breaks up some of the adhesions that are developing through that 20 or 30 minutes. Adhesions are almost like Velcro layers in your tissue. They start to clump together and get tight. It makes it really hard for us to move. So by getting up and moving, you're breaking up those tissues and reducing the likelihood of that ever happening. So that's strategy number 1. Now, strategy number 2 happens at the end of the day. Actually, the strategy 2 and strategy 3 are going to help us at the end of the day. You can implement them in during the day if possible, but if you've got no time, you're too busy, do what I mentioned in strategy number 1 and then use these at the end of the day. It gets really irritated when we're constantly in a seated position like this. So one of the best things we can do to help relieve some of that pain and discomfort is stretch it. The Piriformis has been found to actually mimic symptoms like sciatica. So a lot of people come into our practice who think they have sciatica, actually don't. They really have what we call piriformis syndrome, which is this muscle getting really tight and clamping down around the sciatic nerve, mimicking a lot of those symptoms that somebody with true sciatica would feel. But piriformis syndrome, luckily enough, isn't as challenging or difficult to improve like sciatica maybe. So with a piriformis stretch, what we're going to do is we're going to cross one leg over in external rotation like so. You're going to have one hand here, one hand there, pushing down gently with your outside hand to get the knee down towards the floor. So it's that position there. I like to hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds. You can also sit up tall while you're doing it and lean in a bit. That'll magnify and get more out of the stretch. But again, you're holding for 20 to 30 seconds. Try not to bounce through this position, just hold it. Then we're gonna switch and go the other direction, same thing, hand down, hand here, pressing in. You can lean in like I'm doing here, or you can just sit back if this is more than you need for a stretch. If it's difficult here, don't lean in until you feel comfortable doing that. That's the piriformis stretch. That's strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 is doing what I'm doing right here, which is essentially called the deep squat. You're getting deep into a position where your hips are not used to being, at about 120 to 35 degrees of flexion, and you're hanging here. If it feels uncomfortable, you can't do it easily, or you're falling backwards, the first option is to grab onto a chair like you see here, sit down into the deep squat, and use the chair as a balance mechanism. You're not standing up like you would in a normal squat if you were trying to strength train. It's not what this exercise is for. It's to help improve and open up the hips. So I'm motioning a little bit here as I hold onto the chair, but we're just trying to stay in this position as long as we can and be comfortable. If you can't do that, if that's too uncomfortable, the next step is to get up against a wall like you see here and sit down into the position. Slide down as far as you can comfortably and just hang there. The biggest part about this isn't so much if you're using a crutch like the back of the wall or the chair. The biggest thing is just getting in this position, to get your knees into these deeper positions and your hips. Because most of the time, we're just going to about 90 degrees and stopping. We're not going any further. You sit at 90 degrees at your chair, you sit at 90 degrees at your toilet or your car seat. So we're never really breaking that plane, and your hips are designed for that. And so if we don't use them, we're gonna start to lose them, and our lower back has to work a lot harder, which creates problems for it. Again, this is the conversation around a secondary issue or a primary issue. The hips oftentimes are the primary problem. We're not using them enough or properly, and our lower back has to make up the difficult work that the hips aren't doing. Okay, now if this position isn't comfortable, the last option you have is to sit flat on the floor and simply bring your knees up like this. This position, again, is gonna put your hips in a different place and will help them get better motion long term. You wanna spend time here though. My goal would be for everybody to be able to spend 5 minutes a day in this deeper position to help improve hip positioning and knee function. If you do that, I think the lower back's gonna be a lot better off simply by getting better mobility through your hips. If this is uncomfortable for you, it's a great reason why you should be doing more of it. After watching this video, hopefully you can understand why back pain isn't always the real issue. There's other things that are potentially contributing to it. And while these exercises that I showed you are great for getting some relief, sometimes there's underlying issues in the spine itself that need to be corrected if we're ever going to get back to the point where we feel our best and are able to operate our best. And so if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, my suggestion would be find a specialist who analyzes and corrects core problems in the spine and the nervous system. That's what we do in our practice. And so if you're in the nearby Denver metro area and you'd like to have your spine analyzed for any problems that could be contributing to your back pain or potentially other things as well, then go below the video, find the link, and schedule a consultation with us. If you enjoyed this video, you found value in it, please like and subscribe to our channel for more information coming out. It'll also help people who have never heard of us find out about it and hopefully get some help themselves. Thanks for watching.